Alright, it's been a while since our last dev update, and this video is kind of meant just to kind of fill you guys in on just where we are in terms of development. Over the past couple of weeks to months, we've basically just been getting everything situated in terms of the core gameplay loop, and just kind of figuring out what's fun and what's not. We're essentially just playtesting it and stress testing it just to kind of figure out what ideas worked and which ones didn't. Revamping the game design doc. I mean, you can see an example here of like the spawn system. We have like a little slow-mo system we've been playing around with, where basically you can hold Alt and it'll basically slow down the world so you can kind of just evaluate the situation a little bit better and maybe make small little micro clicks here and there to basically prioritize certain units that are about to sneak up and have a snack on your units. We've basically been working on the Fog of War and making sure that it's dynamic, that it's based off of where your units are actually looking. And again, this is all pre-alpha, so you're going to see bugs, you're going to see oddities with the ragdolls. You might even see some units that just don't properly hide themselves in the gray of the map. But again, this is pretty much just been like our sprint to essentially just kind of get to this point in development where we can actually play something and then figure out what works and what doesn't. I'm going to jump ahead a little bit here and just kind of show you just a little bit of the cities that we have that are being built up right now. Just kind of, I guess, give varying levels of the difficulty in terms of how they're made. There's civilians that are just kind of like littered across the levels you can walk into and interact with. They're completely random when you do run into them. And you can see here I'm basically just kind of playing with the squad, setup. Diamond formation, basically playing with the diamond, basically calling it an ammo drop, basically to replenish my unit's ammo. You can see some examples, some of the civilians that randomly litter the city, and then depending on your reputation level of how you're treating them, which is that little yellow bar on the left, they'll either run away from you or greet you. And in some cases, they might even attack you if they have a gun. But because it's a fresh start, I haven't actually made myself known to them. They're just going to act like I'm not there and just kind of casually just go about their day. Again, this is a combat stress test, so it's really not taking into consideration the story and what's actually going on right now. So right about here, I'm just going to pretty much just break up my squad and just kind of show you just like a 4-man team just kind of going through the city here. We just send back these two right here back to the other guys because their animations are bugged right now, so just don't pay attention to those guys. We're actually remaking those guns right now, so again, that's the other reason why we haven't applied the final animations and put that attention in. So here's my little final team. I'm going to send in basically to attack the hospital and just kind of clean out the infection pods. And basically, the infection pods are essentially how, I guess you could say, it grows and creates new infected little pods that basically grow out of them. And basically when they're birthed, it creates the infected and then they run around and essentially just try and infect you and kill you. And how you reclaim the city is by attacking and burning these pods, essentially. And by doing that, you reclaim sectors, and those pods will dynamically show up based off of like which areas you haven't attacked. They'll spread out basically from there. And the first couple of builds are pretty kind of static and set up for what we have right now. But in future builds, they'll get more complicated, where they'll stretch out and kind of just like expand over streets, and it'll be more like the Zerg, for instance, or like maybe the Stranger Things, that little one. Like an alternate dimension in the Stranger Things, for instance. So you can see an example. Basically, I'm just destroying the pods. And right here, I'm basically just going to move up on a little tactical. I'm going to split up my guys and basically send one on the right side, one on the left. And from there, they're basically just going to clear out and move up the street and cover each other. put quite a bit of emphasis on being able to like kind of run, and essentially you can really, your units can really take off and get to different positions really quickly to cover each other. So you can see right here, basically I'm just kind of dodging that little infected that's running after them. And then from there, once they get in position, because they know and they heard him previously, they'll know to snap around, shoot him, unless you gave them a target that overrides that one. And right now I'm basically just kind of like, adjusting the slow-mo, holding Alt, getting an idea of who the biggest threat is, and then giving them targets by left-clicking on the units and then right-clicking on who they need to shoot first. You can see that guy noticed the pod, so he's immediately going to engage it. And you do have the ability to tell your guys to cease fire, and they'll only shoot when you tell them to shoot. But for right now, I'm basically just playing with everyone on open fire. So if they see something, they'll engage it, and they'll try and kill it. And right here, I'm just basically going to select him, put it in slow-mo, and they're going to turn around and pop him. You can hear that weird shuffling in the background. It's basically a bunch of civilians probably running away from like an infected horde. Right now we kind of have like a bug where the attenuation's kind of off, so you can kind of hear them really far away. Like they're probably actually in the tourist district of the island, but you can hear them 3 blocks over almost. So that's something we're currently working on right now, is just kind of tuning up the sound levels for footsteps, and basically just kind of figuring out like what sounds good for like the military units, the civilians, and the infected, and then just kind of making sure that it adds to the overall atmosphere, especially the infected. So like when you're walking through these zones, it's pretty intimidating when you open up and you start shooting, like howls and screams and just the pitter patter of feet coming down an alley. Just so that when you get into the shit, things quickly escalate. And again, the spawns that you're seeing right now are like, again, pre-alpha. So right now we're stress testing, we're trying to figure out what the max amount of infection we can have on screen is. And right now we're kind of aiming for like 40 to 60. So the hordes you see here are going to be substantially scaled up as basically other systems come online. So we can just kind of figure out like, okay, how's the performance, and just kind of go from there essentially. So I'm going to issue them a move order. You can see the camera actually is following them automatically. You can press a key, tab, and it automatically locks onto your squad leader. And the camera will basically kind of follow him, like a directed camera mode, kind of like in Company Heroes, the first one. We're still working on it. It's kind of buggy at times, but the idea is that at certain times you can press a key and it'll lock on to whoever is your primary unit, and then from there they'll follow that guy automatically. And it just kind of helps you get an idea of what's going on. Or rather, if you want to just kind of go on autopilot and just watch all the action unfold and give little small micro commands here and there. Kind of comes down to your playstyle at the end of the day. And we're trying to keep it open in terms of like you can approach different situations how you want, and we just give you the tools and have at it. Accomplish these missions basically. In later videos we'll show you more of the side missions, the primary missions, and just kind of like as the gameplay just kind of develops, keep you guys in line with what's going on. But again, this is a really quick little update on kind of just where we are in development. So make sure you follow us on NEDV, you check out our website, we'll be a lot of viral marketing on there, and you just kind of stay tuned, and we'll be dropping quite a few more videos over the next couple of weeks about our gameplay.